We'll be discussing transportation in the next 30 minutes. So, my name is Maxime Chambreuil. I've been still working for Open Source Integrators. Hasn't changed in 30 minutes. So, event sponsor of the OCA days. Same team as the FSM module. We've been working on the two aspects there, and same agenda. We'll go through a little bit of history of those transportation module, the scope they cover, a brief demo, and we can discuss roadmap and ideas that we want to include. So, project story in 2020. Alan Ramos in Torreón, Mexico, started implementing and developing transportation module for a company over there. Mostly transportation by truck of cargo, also including in all the electronic documentation for Mexico. For fiscal reasons, fiscal requirements. He migrated those modules to 15 last year, and we got some. We participated to some logistics events this year and previous ones. So I looked at what was available in the Odoo App Store, found him, and we decided to work with, we got 2 interns working on those modules this year. So we've did some refactoring. It's not like a one-to-one migration of his module, but we migrated to 17, and we'll see how this looks like in a minute during the demo. So the scope, mostly designed, so he made the module originally for a truck company moving cargo, but we wanted to be more generic. We got some leads as well in transporting passengers. So the module provides vehicles, drivers, route, trips. We support terrestrial transportation, so car, truck, train, water, ferries, container, airlines and carriers. We made the integration with, so one of the things Alan worked on is it's redeveloping most of the features within his module. So there were very low integration with Odoo. For obvious reason of time and money, we decided to integrate the transportation module with account asset in Odoo for depreciation, also with maintenance. We integrated with sales to sell either trip, so the whole truck or the whole vehicles, or space within that vehicles, and tickets when it's passengers. So we wanted to support both. We also supported purchase integration with purchases and expenses. So whether the truck driver is an employee or not, that could trigger whether it's an expense or a purchase. So that's how we support subcontracting. And for those who knows the market over there, we did a demo with Estafeta. It's a local carrier who's been recently purchased by UPS. We did a demo over there, pretty interested by what we showed them, and what they are looking for and they don't get today is the cost by trip or cost by route. So something we, using the Odoo Analytic Accounting, we're able to support both at the same time, using analytic plan, so we can have like one account per route or one account per trip. And whether it's a purchase, expense, records, or the income from the sales order or the invoices, then we can really track by trip or by route the profitability of the operation. So during the demo, I'll show you drivers. We extended the REST partner there, vehicles based on Odoo Fleet, trips. We'll see the product configuration to basically go through the story here where you sell, whether it's a seat or trip. During the confirmation, it creates the trip, and you can then schedule your trip, assign the trip to a driver and vehicles. You can enter purchases, submit expenses, and create invoices at the end. So this is the module here, so it installs fleets as well. We manage different teams, which each team can have their own workflow and stages. But going quickly through master data, so we have the vehicles here where you get all the demo data from the fleet. Haven't added much there, but we got this tab here so you can define whether you operate on cargo or passengers and define the capacity. So based on cargo, it's volume or number of products. One of the use case that Alan had is working for Mabe, who produces a fridge. So he's managing the capacity of the truck by the number of fridge that can fit. So you can select the product and then define the capacity. Not sure why we don't see the field. Yeah, here. So you select the product and you can define what's the capacity with that product. Then we have drivers. So let me go through this. Yeah. Driver. So same thing. We can manage stages on the driver to manage his availability or status. But basic information here. Distance is traveling, the licenses, license number, expiration dates, contact. So all the usual stuff from a contact there. So mostly the license here is what's most interesting, and the last piece is the location. So every location here is a contact as a REST partner record as well. So we extended a bit here. Not even, so it's, yeah, we haven't made, or maybe very small one. But so all the transportation location, just the box here, so we can filter in the order when we don't want to select all the contact database. So let's go to sales here. So I created two products. So I have my seat. It's a trip service. So you can select whether it's a new trip or a seat. Based on those, so this is the seat here. There's not much to configure at this stage. And if we go to the next one, which is the trip, there you can select how you will invoice, how you will sell this, so whether it's by distance or weight, and what's the unit of measure for that factor here. And so once we go to a quotation, let's create a new one. So what we did here, you select, let's say, the trip. So we open that pop-up window here. You can use a predefined route. So if you have established route like an airline where you go from Brussels to Liège every day, then you can predefine your route with origin and destination. Otherwise, it's an ad hoc trip. So maybe we go from Liège to Brussels Expo, and we may want to go today at 5, and we'll be arriving at 6. So we configure our trip. So that trip, so things we're still missing is based on the geolocalization and route and the origin destination, compute the factor. So what's the distance between the two cities or the two locations? And then we also manage, so we kept the quantity there. So maybe you'll be doing this trip once or twice or a couple of times to the customer. So you can manage the quantity of trip that will be created. And let's just make a simple one here. Maybe it's 100 euros or dollars. And so once we confirm, we get our trip created at the top. So the sales guy can look at the status here. And so one thing I haven't shown is once we select the trip on the line, it creates the trip in a draft state. And once we confirm the sales order, it moves to the confirmed one. So if we go here to our transportation, so we have our different team. We can see all the trips here. So we got our trip right here. We can assign it to a team, a vehicle. So we're going to drive the yellow bus from Liège to Brussels. So we can determine per trip if we will create invoices and bill when the trip is completed. We got our planning that we did on the sales order. I think the vehicle is configured to transport passengers, so we can add all the people here. That's still something we need to work on there, but the purpose there is to allow the user to configure an image where we can put the seats and have some numbers related to those, have a stage there to see if it's available, if it's VIP, if it's reserved or booked. And so people can select all the seats in here. We can create expenses, as I mentioned earlier, so you can see there the analytic distribution is already set. So an account was created for that trip and automatically set on the expenses. So when the drivers will report fuels, lunch, whatever that as an expense, and if it's an employee, all the costs will be put on that same account. So there's nothing really new. It's just Odoo standard expense module. So maybe it's $30 and related to the trip. Purchases, that's the same ID. So create a purchase order and can select the vendor. And on the line, if we show here the analytic distributions, we got the same analytic account automatically set. So to make sure that all the costs really ends up in the same account. So maybe they buy fuel here, and yeah. you get the idea, standard process of Odoo behind the scene, and there we track the actual date start, date end, and compute the duration. And so if we save this, and let's say this is complete, so we got all the smart buttons at the top. Forgot to check the box here, so we don't have the invoices, but we can easily browse from the trip. For the dispatcher, he can check all the data from the other team. Questions regarding trip management and everything we've seen so far?
So the product, the factor cannot be in cubic meter.
So the product. We only added a few, but we can add more. We can add more here. So yeah, distance, weight. I think usually it's also volume that's been used in the truck. So what's the one you mentioned?
To have it in volume.
Yeah, yeah. That's just needs to be yeah. We can add this one as well.
I think it was configured on the vehicle, right? Sorry, on the vehicle. Yes.
Yeah, the vehicles allow to define the capacity, but here it's really like what's the dimension, because the volume is one. For some, what I've heard is there is also a combination, like it's a weight and volume. Yes. So that's why I ask the team, like, leave those two. Those are the most generic one, and once we get those fancy requirements during a project, we'll see how we can add them. But the idea was we made those modules here within 2-3 months with interns, so I think it's a pretty good milestone there. And so yeah, the idea was to go quick, and we did the demo, like I mentioned, to Estafeta. There's interest there. There is not just on transportation, but also on field service as well. So the idea, if we can get them on board, then we'll be adding more features to this there, and even migrate to 18.
Is there a GPS module?
Not yet, but again, that's integration that can easily be done. We can integrate Odoo with the truck. I've had some discussion with Freightliner, the manufacturer. They have their own platform with API, so they also have their own tools. So we don't. Most of it's like we don't need to integrate directly with the truck. The truck reports to the platform, and we integrate with them. So usually the manufacturers provide this, and if it's not, there is independent provider doing it.
Is there a module where we can put on multiple delivery locations? Because if we consider the transport.
That's a good question. So if you were there on my previous talk about field service, that's thinking I've done is whether we use field service for this as well. Problem with field service is it's we manage one location, so you go to that location, you may have a route, you go to the next route, and then you come back. The transportation, it's really like origin destination. So the question was like, if I manage a trip with 2 field service order, like doing a pickup here and a delivery there, that could have been a solution, but that's from what I've seen in the industry, that's really one trip with the 2 locations, and so when I've looked at Alan's module first, that's what he did. I think I've seen other solutions as well. That's the same modelization. Rafael in Brazil also came up with some standard and UBL document or XML document that defines. I say, well, this is This is a prototype here. The idea is to get the basic functionalities, and if the company has the requirement to implement those kinds of structures and standards, then that can be improved. But again, we got in this logistics event we went to, there is a company with very few trucks and starting, so they don't need the whole shebang to get started. And part of what we'll be needing as well that's not there for our own market is all the electronic documents. So truck driver needs to have a document signed with their content, with what they already delivered. So behind the scenes, there is also, especially in Mexico, all the border crossing stuff to manage. So effort can go in very different direction there. So it's going to be driven by customer requests. Other questions?
Is there a timeline or map view for the scheduled trips?
A timeline for what?
Timeline or map view for the scheduled trips.
I didn't get it.
For scheduling.
Timeline view, nope.
Maps?
Nope. That's a good idea. Let me come back to my slide here. So, timeline view for scheduling. Map view. What else? GPS tracking. GPS. Le volume. Yep.
Also, mobile read function.
Good point. It's Christmas. Go for it. Yeah. Well, that's subcontracting. That's there. But I'll put the GPS tracking and platform. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and just a question, is the module thought for companies which the main business is transportation, or it also fits for companies that need to transport their production, like any industry, like construction, that needs to manufacture and then ship, but that don't manage their own vehicle or their own drivers, but that are subcontracting it. Is it like something that could fit or not? It's not the use case.
Maybe, but that will not be the focus there. I think there is other modules to do this, and maybe you can share what's in the repo. I don't know if, yeah.
Company that needs to transport their constructions, their production, but transportation is not their heart of business. And I was asking if this is fitting or not.
Yeah, we have module in the OCA to organize transportation of different companies. So that's mainly around the delivery carrier module, which allows somebody to find the carrier and then we can interconnect with different carriers. That's the easy part, of course. And then what we can do is organize all the handover of the carrier, making the goods, Anything else to add on the list of ideas?